Get Leviticus 19:17 before the gunfire erupts. Hey, bro, put it back, put it back, put it back, put it back. We don't want to end our lives for no reason. It ain't worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
God, read it again.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Joshua 6.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
God said, don't hate your brother in your heart.
That's right.
If you drop his body, what about his family? If you go to jail for life, what about your family?
Bring it out.
Read it again.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
We are healing the community right now with the word of God.
That's right.
My man hopped out the car, racked the pistol, and was about to end everybody's life out here. Bullets ain't got no names. Bullets ain't, you say no he wasn't? Do bullets, when a bullet hits you, do it bring smiles? Or do it drop bodies? What if we hit a gas pump? What if we hit a small child? Come on, what are we talking about right now? Read that.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Because, sister, right here, the Bible says don't hate your brother in your heart, right? Because that's your brother. Okay, cool, read.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
No, coddle him.
Rebuke thy neighbor.
Tell him what he want to hear.
Rebuke thy neighbor.
If that's your brother, you got to be telling him the same thing. Read.
And not suffer sin upon him.
Because people get mad at us for reading out of the Bible and telling the truth. You understand? But we're the only ones doing it. Something going on. Something going on.
All right, Shalom, this is Gamali Allah of Great Millstone, Atlanta. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Akim, pushing out this truth and sincerity. All right, this is a quick lesson, and this is going to be entitled, What Does IUIC Not Understand? There is no healing the community. All right, and what you saw was a video of IUIC Atlanta, and I believe they're over in South Atlanta, which is a predominantly Jake area, and it's rough out there. You know, it's pretty rough out there. You know, a lot of crime, a lot of it's the hood. It's the hood. Now, we've been saying it for years and years. We've been warning these groups about going to the hood. We've been reproving them about teaching in the hood, because it's just not wise. And also, Jake ain't gonna get it, man. There's 2/3. All right, Zechariah 13:8. There are two-thirds of our people are not gonna get it, and for most of the 2/3, just to put it plainly, are gonna come out of the hood. Just no good. There's a lot of no good niggas in the hood that just ain't gonna break out of their sleep. All right, they're low and degenerate. All right, they don't have any type of and I'm not saying, now let me say this, I'm not saying there's not the elect in the hood. I'm not saying there's going to be members of the elect to come out of the hood, because there's even brothers that come from rough areas in the hoods. So I'm not saying that. But, there's these niggas ain't gonna wake up. Here's what I'm saying is, we understand that the Lord has to put it on someone's mind for them to wake up. Okay? Everybody's not gonna understand this thing. All right? You know, most of our viewership is going to come from YouTube, all right, the internet, all right? And that's what this group, IUIC, doesn't understand, because they're trying to, wake up Jake out of impoverished areas. They're trying to go to, Kenya and France and all these different, different islands and stuff like that, trying to evangelize. But the people ain't hearing the message. Everywhere they go, no one's hearing their message. And the scriptures tell you, to shake off the dust, shake off the dust of your feet, when they don't hear you. All right. And like I said, they're areas where they go, nobody's hearing them. All right. You had a few weeks ago, you had a Jake going back and forth with an IUIC member. I think that was in here in Atlanta too. But you had Jake going back and forth with an IUIC member in the hood. It looked like they was in somebody's neighborhood, somebody's apartments. It didn't even look like they was on a street corner. But Jake was, it was a yelling match. Jake was passionate because Jake was saying, "No, God is in you." And nobody in the hood wasn't trying to hear that shit. They wasn't trying to hear what IUIC was talking, But they try to push the law. Yeah, you see, you're not supposed to hate your brother, but they don't push wisdom of the scriptures. See, this is what they're lacking, and I'm gonna get some precepts. What they're lacking is the wisdom of the scriptures. All right. This is wisdom. Titus 3, I'll start at Titus 3 and 9. But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. And that goes to that relates to that time, that few weeks ago when they were going back and forth with that Jake. That was a contention, and it was unprofitable and vain because Jake didn't hear them out. Jake, if anything, Jake was more upset. Jake was more emotional, and they wasn't trying to, if anything, it turned people away from the truth because, I'm pretty sure that Jake in the hood, he has some type of reputation, and, that's probably his block or whatever. So, he's going to influence the minds of those around him to even be further against the truth. Verse 9, verse 10, a man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition reject. Okay. So you're supposed to reject. All right. Not heal the hood, heal the community, heal the hood. Only Yahweh Shemel Shai can heal the hood. And that's up to his will. Okay. That's up to his will. If Yahweh Shemel Shai wanted to heal the hood, then he would elevate their mind, okay, so that they would stop, they would stop what they're doing. But they ain't gonna stop because of prophecy. There's a prophecy that 2/3 of our people will die. All right, and so that will happen by way of Jake on Jake crime, black on black crime, that will happen by way of, Jake having, being malnourished in the hood, Jake living in poor living conditions. We're still under the curses. So us understanding that, why try to break Jake out of these curses? To understand, to understand this truth. Ultimately, it's not up to us. It's up to Yahweh Shemel Shai. So that's why we go to the chief place of concourse, because there's Israelites And that's another point that Jake, they believe that Jake is in the hoods, only in the hoods. Well, you got Jake everywhere, man. You got Israelites everywhere. There's Israelites. We've come across a lot of Israelite foreigners, that look to be, they look like the other nations, but they're Israelites. We've come across a lot, and you're not going to find that in the hood. In the hood, you're only going to find dark skin niggas who are living, what do you call it? Low vibrational. That's what you're going to get in the hood. A bunch of low vibrational niggas. All right. In the city, you're more likely to come across, people that are able to think and process better. You're more likely to come across, somebody that is more sensible and not ready to just shoot somebody down. And you got Jake here. See the thing, and here's the thing. Here's why they're not wise, because why you should be closing. They should be, look, we need to close out camp. It's getting dangerous over here. This spot is, it's hot. They got niggas, with gun, this nigga pulled out a gun. But no, they're gonna stay there. They're gonna stay there. No one's gonna tell them, oh no, you know what, I think y'all should leave. Because if that was us, our camp, and we see, a Jake with a gun, we'll be like, look, man, this block is getting dangerous. You know what? Let's look for another spot. That's wisdom. Proverbs 4:14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it. Pass not by it. Turn from it and pass away. So we don't go in the way of evil men. This is wisdom. This is the scriptures that they're not applying. All right. These are evil. They're evil men in the hood. Men that are ready to shoot you for no reason. All right. YNs who don't have any sense of remorse or feeling or morals. They will shoot you down in a heartbeat for anything, for any fucking little thing. But it says, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it. They should be avoiding the path of evil men. The hoods is the path of evil men. It's unsafe. It's not safe in the hoods. All right. This is Proverbs 1:21. She crieth, wisdom, verse 20. Wisdom crieth without. She uttereth her voice in the streets. And this is wisdom. This is what they don't have. Verse 21. She crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates. In the city she uttereth her words, saying. So number one, in verse 21, she crieth in the chief place of concourse. Okay. Is the hoods a chief place of concourse? No. That's not a chief place of concourse. Go to the city. Go where there's a lot of, foot traffic. Where go to the city. Go to the agora, the marketplace, which I'll get in a second. All right. She uttered her voice in the streets. I'm sorry, in the openings of the gates in the city, she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And scorners delight in their scorners, and fools hate knowledge. See, they're not in that spirit. IUIC is not in that spirit. Oh, how long will you simple ones? How long are you going to love simplicity? They're in the spirit of healing the community and trying to get Jake to put the gun down, brother. But, the Lord is angry. The Lord is really angry. IUIC is not angry. They're coming from a standpoint of, I want to pick you up. I want to uplift you, Jake. No, we're angry with these niggas. We want Yahweh Shemiel Shai to bring death upon these niggas, man. Because we understand judgment. And we know that these niggas ain't right. And they got to get out the way. There's no healing them. There is no healing the community. So that's that. Now, let's get this, because the agora, this is the definition of agora. In the scriptures, it's marketplace. But it says, and in the Greek, it's agora. All right, but it says, any assembly, it says the place of assembly for public debating, for buying and selling, for all kinds of business, the marketplace. All right. And, you know, you got Matthew 11, the usage, under usage. You got Matthew 11. But whereunto shall I liken this generation is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows. So that was a parable. Then you got the parable of the 11th hour in Matthew 20. And he went about the 3rd hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace. So that marketplace is synonymous with, you know, the elect getting this truth. Is likened unto the elect getting this truth. Luke 7. They are like unto children sitting in the marketplace and calling to one another and saying, we have piped unto you and ye have not danced. We have mourned to you and ye have not wept. And that's basically what these jakes ain't get. You know, they're children sitting in the marketplace, and, you know, we're piping unto them, but they have not danced. They're not getting it. You know, verse Acts 17 and 17. Therefore disputed he in the synagogue of the Jews and the devout persons, and in the market daily, with them that met with him. You know, so it was a place of concourse. It was a place of, you know, business, but it was also likened unto, you know, wisdom. You know, the wisdom coming out, you know, the elect waking up, you know, the place of wisdom, I'll say. So, you know, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to touch on those things. Lord willing, you edified, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashim El Shai, Bashim Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom.